Hello everyone, this is Joe here from OmniPoke, the channel that brings you guys everything Pokemon. Today we're looking at a DCE based Malamar deck. We saw Simone Soldo actually placed pretty well in cans with a similar archetype where he had both the Ultra Necrozma and the Onix in his deck list. We're trying out that strat today and it's a pretty interesting build. Obviously we've cut as many GXs as possible from the list. We are not playing Tapu Lele in the build, literally just one Ultra Necrozma GX in the deck, because Sky Scorching Light is still a win condition in a lot of different matchups, as well as having the option to go Photon Geyser is a big deal when you need to reach a little bit further against some GX decks which aren't weak to fighting, because Onix is going to do the job if they are weak to fighting. That's the idea. So Ultra is basically in here for his GX attack mostly, but then also has some stopping power. And the rest is trying to be a non-GX build of Malamar, trying to uptrade with help of Distortion Door, at least knocking out non-GXs with this guy, and then Onix getting the big one-shots on the likes of Zoro and Pikarom. So happy days. Let's get into the list. First of all, 4-4 line of Malamar is going to be our main energy accelerator. It's what the deck really requires in order to get these attack costs rolling. Once per turn, you may attach a Psychic from your discard pile to one of your bench. So we're recycling our energies with this deck. We have 7 Psychic that we can try and recycle. We have 3 Viridian to help pick these out, and Jirachi can Stellar Wish into these cards as well, which is excellent. So the 4-4 Malamar is definitely going to supplement us and make sure we have attackers throughout the entire game. The 2 attackers that we mostly go for, first of all, is Giratina. 2 copies of this guy. We have Distortion Door. Once during a turn, if this Pokemon is in your discard pile, you may put it onto your bench. If you do, put 1 counter on 2 of your opponent's benched Pokemon. This can set up some nice numbers for Sky Scorching Light if we need to, against the likes of Jirachis and other low hit point basics like Marshadows. At the same time, it can help set up some GXs. If we put 1 damage counter onto a Tapu Lele, we are playing with the 1 copy of Choice Band, so a Shadow Impact can in a future turn maybe go for a Guzma knockout, which is pretty important. And yeah, in general, this is nice math fixing. Shadow Impact itself does 130 for 2 Psychic and 1 Colorless, which is nice because we do play 2 Metals and 2 DCs as well, so sometimes that can be fulfilled by those energies if we have to. You do 130 and 4 counters on one of your Pokemon. It's a little awkward doing 4 counters on one of your own dudes at the moment because Jolteon is so rife, so we have to be very careful about where we put this damage. Oftentimes, the best place is just on himself. But we do have some flexibility there, and it's a good number to hit overall. Then we have the Onix, a very vanilla 120 from Land Crush is all you really need right now. If you have enough Malamars on board, we can use those DCs effectively. Land Crush is getting big uptrades, and that's all we really want from this guy. He's trying to hit for weakness, and never before have I seen a card so vanilla be so tempting for me to play in so many decks, and this is one that's going to try and capitalize on Onix, so good job, you're a fighting type. From there, the Ultra Necrozma, I've already mentioned Sky Scorching Lights. You can use this if both players have a total prize cards remaining of 6 or less. Put 6 counters on each of your opponent's Pokemon. So trying to do a big old board clear at the late game, sweep up some prizes, catch up on prize trade against things like Zapdos if they've had to put down multiple Jirachis just to get around your Giratina constantly and stuff. That's going to be a great way that we can come back into the game. Additionally, if they start seeing DCs and Onix, they might not think that you play Ultra Necrozma, so this could be a surprise factor element as well. Definitely worth noting. Photon Geyser is also a very powerful attack. If we are facing down other tag team GXs, which aren't just Pikarom, we can do, for a Metal and a Psychic, 20 plus 80 for each Psychic that we discard from him. So pretty strong. Obviously scales with the Malamar. And Ultra Squids is like the mainstream archetype of this deck, but we're trying to go more non-GX if we can help it, because I think it's just stronger overall. Supporting the deck, we have 2 Stellar Wish Jirachi, helping us find more Ball Search for early Malamars, which is a big deal. Finding us switch cards for these chunky retreaters in Tina and Onix, as well as Ultra himself, and the Mallys also. Also just grabbing Viridian. There's a lot of versatility for this Jirachi, also just making sure we have a good stream of supporters. And 1 copy of Let Loose Marshadow. Disrupting the opponent in the early game can always be powerful. And at the same time, this is a nice hand refresh for us, which isn't based around Lele. Because Lele is a scary card to play in the modern era. Because it's going to be capitalized on by the likes of Zapdos, by the likes of Pikarom. And we want to try and be as non-GX as possible. And this build is trying to really capitalize on that. So, onto the item cards. 2 Stretcher, always important to recycle our Malamar pieces whenever possible. Obviously, again, Jolteon's really popular, Zapdos is really popular. Trying to recycle these to maintain our attackers throughout the game is important. And if we need to use stuff like Ultra Necrozma aggressively, we can recycle him. Against mill players, we can we can Shadow Impact our own Marshadow and reuse Let Loose as well. So stuff like that can be actually pretty impactful. From there, we have 10 Ball Search cards in total, 3 Nest, 3 Ultra, and 4 Mysterious Treasure. We do have a lot of synergy with Ultra Ball, but I feel like Nest Ball is slightly stronger. You know, rather than having a 4-2 split, I think the Nest Ball is a better count at 3, just because Jirachi is our engine, whereas we are not playing Tapu Lele so much. So it feels like this split is more correct, and you know, it's a way of searching out Onix much more as well for on the cheap, seeing that we already have a lot of discard with the treasures and the Viridians. Speaking of which, 3 Viridian Forests, just so that we can discard a card, lowers our hand size in general to make our Lilies less weak, whilst at the same time helping us pick out some of these energy cards. Hopefully it's a lot of Psychic energies. We can also discard Psychic themselves, just go Psychic for Psychic, and 1's in the bin so that you can recharge. Pretty simple stuff. I've already mentioned the switch for our chunky retreaters. We have the Erika's Hospitality as an additional one of, alongside the 4 Lillie and 4 Cynthia. I like just having this option. You can Jirachi for it in the mid game, and it's just a really nice, powerful draw supporter that we have available to us. And it's, you know, an extra supporter in the initial turns when we don't have Lele to fall back on. This is something that we like to draw into. 3 copies of Guzma. Honestly, I could see it being 4. Right now, I think 3 is reasonable when, again, you can dig it out with Stellar Wish as much as possible. Onto the item cards. I mentioned how important Choice Band can be for knocking out Lele's. It's also going to help push things like Ultra Necrozma if we need to put it down in situations, again, like Zoroark. This can be an additional 1-hit KO option for us. 2 copies of Board obviously combines with the Jirachi or like the Marshadow very well, so we can pivot into something for free, recharge like an attacker however we want to, and then retreat out into that attacker. 2 DCEs works excellently with Onix, most of all. Also can help you retreat to your Malamars. 2 Metal Energies, obviously a big deal for the 2 attacks on Ultra Necrozma. Also not the worst to go on for things like Onix when he's good in the matchup, just because it's all colorless. And 7 Psychic to recharge and get the whole gang going. So that's pretty much the deck. Cards you could consider, I'm thinking about a 4th Guzma. I'm thinking about Escape Rope over one of these switches, just to help you out a little bit against Swift Run GX a little bit more. Because if you can Escape Rope around a Swift Run, you can maybe go for a Land Crush type play, which would be hilarious. But from there, I think it's all pretty self-explanatory. If you want to put the Lele back in the list, you by all means can do. But I think that's pretty much going to be it. Obviously, we're not going to play Beast Energy or anything like that in this build, because it doesn't seem all that good. Where is my DCE Mally? There it is. And we'll jump straight into the games. Obviously, keeping the Ultra Necrozma in the build as well means that we still have that 50-50 Malamar mirror matchup. That was the main reason I kind of put it in. I was like, well, you can't win mirror without this guy, so you kind of need him. So at least we're even on that front. We start off with Jirachi, Viridian, and Lillie, so not too bad. Not too bad at all. And it looks like we're up against a Blacephalon. I'm going to toss this Erika. Just grab a Psychic before our Stellar Wish. Hoping to find any Ball Search. And we do play 11, but we actually miss, which is ridiculous. Okay, let's just not take anything here, because I'm thinking of Lillying. Okay, we're going to have to put down a Giratina here so we can get a manual attachment. That's still pretty okay. We'll just pass. It's not the best start for us. Definitely a big whiff on Ball Search on 2 fronts. The 4-card Lillie and the 5-card Stellar Wish when you play 10 is a bit of a shame. But at least we can, next turn, Viridian away a Psychic. Then we just need to find 1 Malamar and a switch card for this Jirachi, and we should be good to start attacking with our Tina. Our opponent is also going to use Viridian. Looks like they actually don't have any fires in hand. Otherwise, they probably would have got rid of 1 because it synergizes so well with their own charging ups. So there is their fire energy. Gonna get attached to their Blacephalon. They're gonna Erika for 3. And let's see what else they can come up with this turn. Let's see. Yep, not much else. They're just going to pass it over to us. So neither of us having electric starts, but doing okay. We pick up a Escape Board, which is one of the things we look for. So now if we can Stellar Wish into a Malamar, that would be excellent. I think I'm actually going to Cynthia first here. Yep, that's all good news. Keep getting rid of Psychic Energies. Let's scout if our Ultra is in deck, as well as our Let Loose. Okay. Those are really good things to know. Obviously, Onix not too big of a deal in this matchup. Let's see if Choice Band's in deck as well. Yep, that's here. Oh yeah, we've already seen it off the Stellar Wish. Okay, we're going to grab a Mally here, and then we're going to Stellar Wish and hope to find more Ball Search cards, because that's all we really look for in the opening turns. I think I'm just going to toss the Lillie and the Escape Board here. It's a pretty big deal for us to get another Inkay down, because he can only max out 100 damage next turn, so he might try and go for a Guzma play on this Malamar or on the Jirachi, and that would be a pain. And because his maximum output is 100, and he can always one-shot a Jirachi anyway, we should just put this on here. Because of weakness, it's always going to be 1 energy to knock out a Jirachi for him. We pick up another Giratina off prize. It's not too bad. Our opponent may be forced into a Bursting Burn play here. Depends how terrible his Erika was. He didn't play any cards. So either he's clogged with supporters or he's clogged with B-strings. So we'll see if he plays a supporter or not, what the answer is. Well, we're going to see him get rid of a fire for a fire and then treasure away something else. Another fire, okay. Getting them all in the discard pile early. Looks like they play a split of Poipole. More Ball Search. So they're definitely holding on to Ball Search that they didn't play last turn. They're also holding on to a Lele that they're not playing, so their hand is reasonable. They're going to go ahead and find a late Alolan Grimer. Trying to shut down our Jirachis and Giratinas, of course. We do have both stretches in deck, though, at least. See a Lillie for 4 cards. Interesting. They discarded all their fire energies, and they had no guaranteed fire attachment this turn, but they did find it off the 4-card Lillie, and they're just going to go for a Burst GX here. And it's another Poipole in the discard pile, which is pretty awkward. 2 down already. Let's get rid of a Tina for free. Let's bring him back while I still can, because this muck is a pain. Also means we can start powering him up pretty casually. And I think it's going to the bench. I'm just going to put it on the active. Difficult call there. We've also drawn into a hand that doesn't give us much draw support. Potentially I could have played Switch here and done a Stellar Wish while we still can. Depends what his priorities really are this turn. If his priorities are to get a muck or not. He really needs to get a Naga down. He's got a lot of fire into his discard pile early from our own forest. Going to see a Cynthia as well from them. They do play a lot of treasures, so they might have a way into muck here. There's an Ultra Space, which is definitely good for him. Also potentially good for us, though. They're going to go ahead and grab another Blacephalon. Are they out of Poipole? They might just be playing the 3-3 Naga, the 1 Ditto, and the 1-1 Muck, which means they have a lot less energy retention this game. Also, it looks like we still have access to our Jirachi, which is nice. We actually draw into a supporter anyway. I'm just looking for more ball search, dude. Still a wish. There we go. We're going to distortion door this guy back. We're going to recharge. I don't mind attaching this, it feels fine. I think Guzma here is correct. We're setting up a long-term Sky Scorching Light. That's what we're up to. Make them have energy switch in hand. Or just a Guzma play. They're going to get a third Blacephalon out, which pretty much confirms our theory that they don't have any more Poipole. Still chance for Ditto, of course. Going to see an attach and a Cynthia, so they currently don't have, well, they didn't have Guzma in hand, and they didn't have E-Switch in hand. Let's see if they get it from this Cynthia. There's the Ditto that we were talking about. It might dissuade him from putting a muck down this turn, though. Just a bursting burn. That is so good for us. So good. Let's immediately switch out. Stellar Wish. Guzma sounds good. So we go down to 4 prizes. Then he goes down to 3. We muck about for a turn. And then we just GX for win. Okay. I like that we have the liberty of mucking around for a turn. Oops. Do I just get rid of the Grimer? He could let loose. this? Oh, interesting. I could accelerate our win condition by knocking out our own Jirachi here. I attack, knock out Jirachi. He goes to 3. He goes to 2 next turn. We're at 4. That's 6. It's really weak around Let Loose. That's the only concern. I don't think we do it. I don't think we do it. Just because Let Loose. If it wasn't a deck that likes to let loose, I might be up for it. We're going to see them promote a Ditto and space out their Nag. Here comes the Beast Rings. Charging up as well. There's an Erika for 5. More Beast Rings. But this is the great thing about the build being as non-GX as possible. We should be fine. Not going to be a problem. Here comes Treasure. They're going to get the Muck. That's actually the best outcome for us because it means he can't let loose. And he needs to let loose to stop us winning. You see an Ultra Ball as well. Don't really know what else they could search for. Actually get rid of a Beast Ring and an Ultra Space. Looks like they're just thinning their hand. There's Bucephalon number 4. Why not? That might genuinely be their last Pokemon in their deck. Oh, okay. So he knows he doesn't want to take prizes. So let's take a prize for him. Now we both go down to 3. He can't let loose. Should be game. Gonna see the Ultra Space for their Naga. And we do see the Mind Blown, which is game, as we know. Gave him some help along the way. Easy peasy. Alright, nice win there against Clowns. He got very rewarded for bringing up his other Bucephalon. Because it was basically a free turn. Let's see what else we can face. That was really interesting, really weird that we missed so much ball search as well. Our board was like relatively clear of Mally's the whole game. Just had like 2 up the whole time. None of them were targeted. Well, this hand isn't fantastic. We just have an Inkay. No draw support. No Jirachi or ball search for Jirachi either. Looks like we're up against a mill deck. Which is a little scary. Mill can be awkward. Our maximum output with the Tina is 110 against Hooper, so we need to try and Distortion Door a bunch. We do have Let Loose though, and knocking out our own Let Loose and reusing Let Loose is a good strat against Mill. Break their Stevens and Lucamine loops. Looks like they kick off with Bill. No doubt they're looking for Steven. And probably some ball search. Looks like they whiffed on Steven, so they have to settle for another Bill and a nest ball. More Hoopers. Classic. Oh, they're attacking. It's an attacking Hooper. Which is actually very scary when our hand is as bad as this. Let's hope to get out of this hand. Well, long story short, no, we don't get out of this hand. We see another Bills here. The deck normally only plays like 1 or 2 DCE. Even if it does play these, I would say. So I'm not super expecting a Super Side Bolt without the help of a Stevens. Yeah, okay, good. Phew! Get rid of a Malamar. We don't need all of them. This is happening. Really don't want to get rid of Viridian. I think we'll get rid of the Ultra. Now, it's not super worth putting down this Tina without using Distortion Door. I think we can pass on it. The upside is we can start swinging with Let Loose, like, as a fallback plan. Yeah, let's do it. It's much stronger to Distortion Door the Hoopers, though. I'm imagining they're not going to do much but Stevens here. Yep. Exactly. What are they going to grab? Maybe DCE. Maybe some Acerola card. Oh, they already have Acerola from the Stevens. Probably just Lucamine combo pieces at this point. Right. Attempt for Draw Supporter number 3. In a sec. Let's go. There we go. Very good. We're in it, boys. And now's as good a time as any to let loose. He's used a Steven, so... And we're hitting into something that he might want to Acerola. And as mentioned earlier, damaging your own Marshadow is good. It means that as you take prizes, you also give them prizes, so they can't use counter catchers, counter gains, and all that jazz. And you're also able to reuse Let Loose. They're going to take Liza for a fresh hand. They hit DCE, which is pretty crazy. We can Distortion Door, though. Let's grab a Mally. Let's grab an Energy. Still a Wish. Switch seems like a good card to hold in hand, just for any stall shenanigans that he tries. Let's reload the Tina. Take our knockout and reload this Let Loose for next turn. Looks like we have a lot of answers. Our opponent's hand size is pretty random from the Let Loose. Step 1 for them is putting down more basic Pokemon. There we go. Step 1 is complete. Let's see what else they can come up with. I'm going to forest away an E-Hammer. I doubt they play basic energy cards, but they're just getting rid of a card that's useless in the matchup. Which is fair, seeing as though we are going to try and reuse Let Loose on him. Looks like they just have another Tate and Liza. More basics coming down. And a pass, okay. We're just going to recharge onto our other Mally here and swing. We're leveling up the prize trade. So we're still not concerned about counter catcher stuff. We don't need to use the let loose until he spends another Steven. Our board looks pretty resilient to the defensive stuff he can pull. Going to see a Gladion for his supporter for turn. Ancient Crystal goes on. Nest Ball. What do they want to grab? Do they want to grab another Hooper? Do they want to grab a Reggie? Can't think of many other good targets to Nest Ball. Oh, a Giraffe. Ooh, Giraffe could get rid of our Let Loose. That's scary. And our Ultra. Let's put those back in straight away. At least he had the courtesy to show us. That's what he has. I feel like Guzma KO is correct. I don't want to get lost. Get losted. Sounds scary to me. It does open up counter catcher shenanigans, so we've been warned. His hand size is only 3 though. He's not in Lucamine Loop or even played a Stevens, so it feels reasonable. There's a Stevens. I'm going to get rid of both these Lilies, I think. I want to put down another... Oh, I want space for a lot of things. Yeah, sure. Let's let loose. Our bench is full now, but we're going to start knocking out our own Marshadow again. Right, 4 random cards. They do play a lot of heal cards, so it's not unlikely for them to have heal of some sort. It's just trying to break a good Stevens Lucamine chain. That was a pretty aggressive let loose. I could have seen us waiting a little bit more. But we're making a video. Here comes the counter catcher. Sure. Probably needs to combine it with the stadium to have any effect. We see an energy to the Hooper. Another Reggie comes down. There's the Acerola. Reggie comes back. Ancient Crystal. Okay. How many DCEs do we have? We still have 2 DCE. That's actually really important for our retreating options. This matchup is probably better than a regular Ultra Necrozma because we have those 2 DCEs to retreat these Mallies. Let's give him another prize. There is a Lucamine. Okay. They just want Acerola Stevens. Tate and Liza and Steven. Okay. See the switch. And the pass. Okay. Is it better to play Guzma and knock out? We can knock out the active as well. It's just that it puts this in an awkward... Like, we don't really like this in the active. How many Guzma have we played? Just 1 so far. I think I like taking the knockout. It means we can Stellar Wish as well. We'll just put this anywhere. Up comes a Hooper. Another Hooper hits the field. Tate and Liza, so they're choosing not to Steven. They're trying to Tate and Liza instead. Interesting. Counter catcher. Wondrous Labyrinth as well. Coming in. I'm just going to Escape Board, and I think I like Lillie. No, I like Cynthia. More options. Well, this went pretty well. Don't want to take an energy because it makes his Skull Grunt stronger. Putting damage here is strong, but means I can't let loose him when I want to. So let's just play a switch. Stellar Wish. And we'll Shadow Impact again. Let's see what else the Tate and Liza has brought them. Ancient Crystal to the bench. I see a Nest Ball getting more basics out by the looks of things. Another Reggie. They actually have a Faber to get rid of probably the... Oh, they get it off the Malamar. Interesting. I thought they would have got it off the Jirachi there. We're just going to Shadow Impact. Get to take a Psychic Energy off prizes. Oh no, we don't. 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, okay, so there's only one prized. Can't win yet. Bill's analysis can get him into many max potions. He hasn't played any yet. Steven. So maybe he already has max potion. Nope. Okay. That's game then. Did he really whiff max potions off all of that? That's crazy. Well, we were able to beat the mill. I think reusing Let Loose is definitely the way to win. Tina did a whole lot of damage. Let's try. No, there's not really any time. There's no time, guys. Mill takes too long to beat. But anyway, that's DCE Ultra Mally. Got to profile a couple of games there. Got to see how you can try and beat Mill with this deck. And yeah, didn't get to see much Onix action. He was just bin fodder, basically. But we know that he hits 2 good Pokemon in the game right now. And that's Pikarom and Zoroark. And that's all he needs to hit. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about this list of a sort of slightly tweaked Ultra Necrozma. I've really enjoyed it, and I think it's a pretty reasonable archetype right now. So let me hear it all down below, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for another video. Cheers.